Hello, Nick. Look who I found. This little guy appeared the other day, strangely, in a place that I had looked on the floor, and he just appeared. I don't know what circumstances changed other than the game was over. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I have to go. Looks like we're joining something already in progress. What you are about to witness is not real. The participants are not actors. They are cardboard counters. They are the actual people who have already either filed suit or been summoned to appear in the Colonial Military Tribunal. Both parties in the suit have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their disputes settled here in our forum, George's Court. All right, everyone be seated. Everyone be seated. We are here today in the matter of the young government of the United States trying to find out what the deal was with Ward disappearing for so long. Mr. Allen, you may interview your first witness. Why does Alan get to do the fun stuff? Because he's the only one of us with a green counter. What does that mean? Please proceed. Thank you, Your Honor. As we will figure out today, we'll figure out that Mr. Ward is guilty of the worst possible thing of a cardboard counter in a Revolutionary War game, desertion of duty. And in that, so continuing on to that progress, I'd like to call my first witness, Mr. Putnam. Huh? Why me? I want to be part of this. I think we should hang him. Mr. Putnam, you obviously are part of the case against Mr. Ward, so you will have to get rid of your seat here. Oh, fine. But who are we going to have replace him? Mr. Howe? Wait a minute, isn't he part of the other side? Yeah, but they lost, and really, if you watch the footage, he was almost part of our side as bad as he was. For Exhibit A, I would like to submit the Colonial Reinforcement Chart. I believe if you'll look at it, it shows that in early summer 1775, Putnam and Ward were added to the leader pool. Mr. Putnam, can you attest to this fact? Yes. Was Mr. Ward present with you in the leader pool when you arrived? Yes, but I say we hang him. Let's hang him. Thank you, Mr. Putnam. That will be all. For the next piece of evidence, I would like to submit as Exhibit B the Colonial Reinforcement Chart, which, yes, is also Exhibit A. And I would like to turn your attention to the early spring of 1777, when we see here that Ward was supposed to be removed. But when our player went to remove him, he was nowhere to be found. As a consequence of this fact, I would like to call to the stand Gates and Schuler. This is highly irregular that you are constantly calling people of my tribunal, but all right. Gosh darn it. I wanted to be part of this. This was exciting. I didn't want to have to testify. Yeah, me neither. This sucks. Should we replace anyone? No, just huddle together a little more. Good enough. Now, Mr. Gates, as was shown on the reinforcement chart, you were supposedly promoted at this time. Did that happen on that turn of that year? Why, yes, it was. I was promoted to a 3-star general. Quite deservingly, I must pronounce. Very nice. You may go join General Putnam. Shucks. And Mr. Schuler, can you attest that you were also demoted that turn? Why, I never. Yes, I was demoted down to a 2-star general through no fault of my own. That's not what we're here to judge. I just want it stated on the record. Why are you starting to sound like Nixon? I don't know. I'm going to go join the others. Now, Mr. Ward, I have a few questions for you. Where did you disappear to? My lawyer has advised me to plead the fifth. Did you or did you not appear in the leader pool in early summer of 1775? My lawyer has recommended to me that I plead the fifth. Mr. Ward, why must you evade my questions? Why can you just not admit that you are a Benedict Arnold? I object! Who was that? It's me. That didn't happen in this timeline. The war was over before that happened. I'm a good colonial general. Yes, Benedict, we know, but it just flows off the tongue so good. I think we'll use it anyways. Is that fine? Okay, Your Honor? Yes, I believe it is. Benedict, you served very well in your capacity in my army, but Ethan does have a point there. Ah! We return you now to George's court, where there's about to be a verdict. Mr. Ward, please approach the bench for your sentencing, or for your judgment, I guess. In the matter of the United States of America versus Ward for dereliction of duty, we find the defendant not guilty. No! How can this be? The real fault here is with the person playing the game. His dereliction and callousness in his taking care of us counters is what caused this problem. Whoa. Let's stop right there. I hope you enjoyed that little dramatic reenactment, even if the ruling ended up being a bit ludicrous, if you ask me. Anyways, what will follow this hopefully brief interruption is nearly 30 minutes of me hemming and hawing in my ramblings, trying to come to terms with my thoughts on this game. It's pretty boring, it annoys me, so I thought I'd try to make a quick summary so you don't have to subject yourself to it. Having watched any of my videos and seen how little editing I do, I'm sure you'll understand what a monumental event this is for me slicing this in. I'll leave the rambling portion after this, though, because I know Nick likes the sound of my voice. It makes him feel safe as he drifts off to sleep at night. So to summarize, the rules are the rules as delivered are not to the level of conciseness that I would expect from what you'd have to consider one of the bigger publishers in this niche hobby. It's a disappointment. Quick side note, that will probably ruffle, the Compass fanboys, but let me say this: if this was made today by GMT, it would probably sell out the first week, and then they'd announce a second edition with a $40 upgrade kit, as seems to be in vogue these days. There, I've ruffled the GMT fanboys too, so we're all even. All right, back to the summary. The version 3 rules may correct this, but starting to read them so soon after reading the original rules just added more vagaries and confusion for me. If I would have started with them, maybe all would have been perfect, but I can't change my timeline. If you haven't played it yet, you can change yours, and I hope you do. There's an enjoyable game here, and it's worth buying if the topic interests you, with a few caveats. Number one, I feel like you should have an average level of experience in games like these, as that will aid you in approaching the vague areas with common sense. Two, you need to accept that you should watch the original videos on the game Gilbert did, and that you'll probably need to hunt around on BGG for clarifications and such. And number three, you need to not be a whiner. I admit I had some times where this journey frustrated me, leading me to my share of whining. But I pre-ordered the game, so I feel like I should be entitled to a little. If you're going to buy the game now and then make some rage post or whiny video bashing on it, and then just save us the effort and go watch some videos by morons spouting on why something is or isn't a war game. That'll be about as useful. So finally, shout out and thanks to Christopher Clark, who sent me the yearly turn play aids. I blanked on your name in the long form version that follows, and I apologize for that. I encourage you to keep at refining those. So by the time that I wrap back around in my collection to play this again, that those will be incredibly useful. So I hope this little insert was worth something and not a waste of years in my time. Watch the rest at your own risk, and especially not while driving. Okay, have fun and keep on gaming. All right, we got those dastardly colonial revolutionaries with their ideas of how the game player should treat them back in the tray, locked away in the box, and they've agreed to be good when I take them out. So here we go. So got War for America, the American Revolution, 1775 to 1772, designed by Gilbert Collins, made by, or I don't know what you say, produced, manufactured by Compass Games. Yeah. So let's take a look. I mean, you've already seen it if you've watched the videos. Got some extra counters that were on the sheet, that just a duplicate of some that are already in there, but nice to have in case you lose any. But of course, the ward counter wasn't an extra, so it would have been a problem with that. The game is not really card driven. It's card assisted. So you've got like your base set of cards that are in there to begin with, and then each year certain cards get added back with the discard pile, and each player can have up to 3 cards that they draw during the spring turn, and they also get more cards if there's a tie in the initiative roll. But you can only ever have 3 at most. Some cards are for a certain side, and if you draw those for the other side, you got to offer that to the other player. Counters. I mean, counters are counters to me these days. As long as you guys behave. Yeah, keeping an eye on you. I mean, they seem like regular quality counters. Counter-wise, I think it's fine. I did have an idea of something that would be handy, but I can't think of it off the top of my head now. I should take notes when I think of these things. There are some counters for when certain cards are played, for like a political will, that you can keep, I guess, by the political will track to remind yourself that, yeah, like here. So with the, I think that's like the pit war card or whatever, gives a -1 to the British political will. I think, there's a lot of other little things that can happen, like the first time the British take Charleston or Philadelphia, there's a shift. Maybe just if there was counters to mark that happened. Got some player aids. Let's see. Let me put these back with the others. We'll get to them. Oops, whoopsie. All right, so you got the rule book as written. I printed out my own copy and underlined some things, make sure I reminded myself. Updated it for the errata, which, where is it? Yeah, there's some errata. Most of this isn't even for rule. Some of it is, but I'm pretty sure that I updated this copy. Let me take a look at 6.4. No, I didn't. Man, I thought I had updated this. Replace the word by with after. The British player takes first AP after putting. Well, that's already says that. Takes the first. Oh, I don't know. So some of this must have already been part of it. We'll talk about the rules later. I also, on the back, the different star generals can move around with so much SP. The quality of the general has a different modifier, and then there's winter quartering. This, I think, would have been good to have on the one of the player aids. But this is that. Corrections, clarifications, which we all know it's errata. Embrace it. This is the 3rd edition rules that Compass has on their site. Also, it's at I think this is the 3rd edition rules, or third revision. That is on Compass's website and BGG. Again, we'll get into my voyage with the rules after we get through the box. Playbook that has examples that are referenced from the rules for certain situations, as well as the scenarios. There's the big one that starts from the beginning, and then there's the second one that starts when the French start in. One thing which I'll show on the map when I get it out, but certain locations on the map are kind of not differentiated which state they're in. So you can look on the gazetteer here to see what state they're in. I found that, once I realized it had that, I found that pretty handy rather than going to Google. Nice designer notes talking about his history with Revolutionary War games and what he hoped to achieve with this one, and thoughts on it. Bibliography. player aid cards. There's a for both sides. You can take the army chit, put down what's in the army there. Handy. Colonial reinforcement chart. Yeah, I don't think there was anything that I had trouble with on this, though I think there's errata for some of these things on here. There's also the British. Yeah, same thing for the British. Could have, I don't know, could have had something on the back there. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I mean, some wasted space there. Nice little setup chart for the big game. I love these sort of things. Put them out there. One thing to keep in mind when you're setting this up, take note of these little marked counters. These are setup counters, and they don't count against your maximums. There must be a maximum for loyalists. I don't recall that. And then terrain effects chart, which I mean, this you'll put this to memory pretty quick. Here's your main workhorse, your charts and tables, size of your army on here. You get more people in your army or space, and you get to roll possibly more damages. Modifiers, Continental Levy. This was the designer on BGG supplied a different table that kind of gave less amounts, which he suggested to use, which I did. The British transport capacity, that might have been good just to put on the map by the where you kept track of it is. Maximum militias on the board. I think that was on there also. Siege, I never sieged once. Oh, Loyalist SP. I don't know if this is maximums. I don't know. A lot of things that I don't remember, or just never found it in the rules. This is a weird thing here. I don't know why it says militia loyalists. I mean, you roll a 1, you get nothing. You roll a 2 or 3, it's 1/2. I don't think it matters if it's loyalists or militia. That's something that I never saw why that was like that, but okay. Sequence of play. Yeah, this takes you through the basic. There's some other things you can find online that were a lot more handy than this. Foreign entry card and the Six Nations card. I don't know why this needed to have its own special card. It could have just been put in the rules, and maybe some clarifications, there. I don't know. A lot of juggling cards when some of these things. These two could just be in the rule book for me. I mean, my preference. Here's some of the things that I printed off. This one's nice. It's kind of color coded for the different seasons that you go through. So as you go through the different phases, you can see what applies for what season you're in. Like I said, I think this is a lot more handy than the basic one. There's things on here that you'll catch yourself, whereas on the basic one, I don't think some of these things aren't listed. This is just a nice helpful reminder. Here's another. This was a work in progress. Hopefully, I can't think of his name. Sorry, but hopefully he finishes this and gives a good final version of this online. But this is kind of like the last one, but it goes a little more in depth, more like a flow chart kind of thing, year by year. Whereas this one You know, it's the same thing you're going through, and certain things you just check, is it this year? Whereas this, it's only going to show you what you need to know for that certain year. I think they're both really handy. And then here's another one for the different leaders and their entries and removals and such. The map I think it's a beautiful map. So there's a little taste of it. Here's kind of like an example of what I said before, how some of these locations, I mean, if you're not familiar with them, you're not gonna know which state it's in. So Norwich, you know, not knowing, it could be in New York, it could be in New Hampshire. That's where this gazetteer is pretty handy, because you can come over. Oh, that's wrong one. It's in the playbook. So you can come over here. So that is Norwich. You can find Norwich. So it's New Hampshire. So, I mean, you can find it relatively easy, but it just, I don't know, it would have been nice if there could have been some way to note it on the map, especially for these key spaces. I mean, these other ones, well, yeah, I mean, they do matter, because on these, the boundaries of the areas, so the New England area and the Middle States area, you know, the colonial militia has to stay. So the militia you raised in New England has to stay in New England. It can't come across. So, you know, some of these spots, it would have just been good if somehow, I don't know, if they have the lines go around. So, like, you know, have this yellow line kind of go around there, so you know, okay, Norwich is on that side. Just little pet peeves there. You can find it in the book there. Summary of your political will changes. I never looked on here because of the way I had to have the map situated. It wasn't really easy for me to see. Yeah, I like the maps. I think they're pretty good. So let's see, overall thoughts. I think you could. I mean, early on, you know, there was, you know, frustration with the rules. What I enjoyed it. It was, you know, it's a shame that the rules came in the state they did. So, I mean, let me go over. So I had, so going into this, you know, I had heard, you know, when this first came, I mean, this is like, what, 2 years old? So I hadn't gotten to it for a while, but I'd heard the rumblings about, you know, problems with the rules and complaints, and they were saying how the designer was, you know, really kind of combative with people asking questions. I don't, you know, going and seeing some things on BGG after the fact when I was looking for things, there were some interesting back and forth. I will say that. So going into it, you know, I'd heard that, but I don't know. I really thought, like, come on, this is just some people complaining for no reason. I mean, just, you know, these games are games. They're, you know, the rules come. I mean, they're not. I don't know. I guess I approach a game that, like, you know, how different can it be from other games that, you know, you figure it out. You know, you just got to put some time in, you'll figure it out. So going into this, you know, maybe that was in the back of my head, but, you know, reading through, you know, questions kind of started coming up, you know, like, well, this is kind of some gray areas here. And the problem is, you know, I mean, that was, I don't know, 2.5, 3 months ago, you know, when I started getting into this. So what was foggy for me then, I've, you know, kind of replaced either with my own interpretation and decided to play that way, or I did find, you know, something on BGG or something. So, you know, I can't point to a specific example. Maybe, you know, maybe through the playlist, I think, you know, I would point some things out. But it's kind of seemed, I felt like it wasn't very, there was a lot of vagaries, and it was annoying because, you know, we want conciseness. It was not concise. I had seen that they had these rules update, which I think like somebody in the community had put together, and then Gilbert, the designer, had, I think, kind of helped out. So I thought, well, okay, because I wanted to kind of like approach it, you know, from what people were complaining about. I wanted to see that, and so I saw it, and I thought, well, surely, you know, maybe I better read these and get a, you know, fix my questions. But as I started to read this, it just kind of added more questions, and I found myself getting more confused than with, I don't know, kind of two different rule sets in my head. And so I just kind of like said, screw it, I'm not using this. I'm gonna make do with the first edition, and I'm just gonna, if there's vagaries, I'm just gonna decide how things should be done. It you know, there was frustration. If you watched, you saw there was times that I was a little frustrated. But you know, if you've played these games long enough, you can come to a resolution of your own that makes sense, and just continue to play it that way. Should you have to do that? No, but that's the way I feel for this. If you're approaching this, you know, if you haven't played it yet, maybe the best thing to do is just start here. Don't even look at the first set of rules. Just start here. Maybe that is the way to go. Though there was, I did have an example. Now I can't even think of. I don't know. I did have an example, and I don't know if there was something in the index that I tried to find in here, and it actually pointed me somewhere else that was wrong. I don't know. Anyways, enough on that. I think you know, you're going to get out of this game what you put into it. There's a good game here. It's enjoyable. Would I want to pick up this game with a stranger and play it? No. I would only want to play this game with somebody I knew well, and that you know, you let them know going into it that, you know, we're gonna encounter situations that aren't covered in the rules, and we're just gonna we're gonna look at it together, decide this is the way we think it should go, and then we'll do it that way going forward. I mean, yes, it sucks, but that's how it is. I guess my advice would be, if you're gonna be someone that's gonna be a big problem for, then don't buy it. If you already own it, don't even attempt it. Just sell it to somebody who would be interested in it. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's frustrating, but it's a good game. I mean, look, I mean, you shouldn't, again, I feel like I have to preface all this stuff. You shouldn't have to go watch the videos and go through all the forums of BGG for things that don't make sense. You shouldn't have to do that, but it's not that difficult. I mean, I enjoyed the videos way back before this was even going to get published, and was chomping at the bit wanting it. kind of wish maybe I would have reached out and said, you know, I'd love to play test this. I feel like this kind of I think the problem, you know, what it seemed like is whoever was the developer, like, you know, the designers always seems like they're too close to their game. You know, they've built all these rules, and you know, it just makes sense to them. The developer's supposed to take all that. I mean, I guess this is how I think these things work. Maybe I'm totally off, and you can just ignore me. But you know, the developer's kind of the one that, you know, is supposed to kind of take all that, take those original rules and hone them, make sure that the vagaries are filled in, you know, add that conciseness. And then, you know, it needs to be thrown out to people who have no familiarity with it, to try to read through, see if anything pops out that is glaring, and then do some playing, you know. I feel like the people that developed this were just, I don't know, feels like they were too close to the game, and to them, when they would read through it, you know, it didn't jump out that, hey, this, what happens if this happens, and this rule doesn't really address that. But you know, anyways, and I feel like this is a totally useless video of my thoughts, because I can't give, you know, I've played it, I've internalized kind of my own rulings that for places that were vague, and I can't really go find that. So I feel like I'm not even an authority on it, and can't say this stuff, but it is what it is. But like I said, I enjoyed it. It'll stay on my shelf, even though I found the word counter, so it is complete. If I would want to sell it, but I don't. It'll go next to Mr. Madison's War on my shelf, and yeah, I'll enjoy that. So yeah, I feel like if I talk any more on this, I'm just going to ramble even more than I already am, and I feel like I've already wasted your time. I apologize for that. So where am I headed next? I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything on camera on it, but I've got probably start this tomorrow. Very excited to dig into I, Napoleon. Man, it's been, this is what, maybe a month old that it's been out, and keep seeing a lot of postings about it. I've been ignoring them. I want to just go into it, you know, have that experience, that first experience, without any preconceptions and stuff. So I haven't watched any videos. Very excited to dig into that. I don't know if I don't think I'll do any gameplay of it. I just kind of want to maybe take a little break from the schedule, and just play some things on the side. Maybe I might have a, you know, small video here or there that I put out. I've got, I know I want to do a what I got video, but I got this, kind of a neat little thing. But yeah, I think I'll probably do something on this, just to kind of show it for any grog nerds that are interested in a kind of a lighter game. I know that you know, Nick, you've said how you know, timing wise, you know, with young kids, it's just hard to get anything set up and in, and these are pretty simple and easy to do, and kind of still give you the taste of wargaming that you want. So anyways, I think I'll finally break off here and quit boring you. Maybe you can play this to help you go to sleep tonight. So I will talk to you later. Have a great one.